Hello, and welcome to ESL-Easy English, the podcast that helps you understand and use English in everyday situations. I'm your host, James, and today we have a very special guest with us, Alison. Alison, it's great to have you here.
Thanks, James. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to talk about today's topic.
Wonderful. Today, we're diving into something super common but sometimes tricky for English learners: small talk. We'll explore what people really say when they meet at work, in shops, or at parties. Allison, for those who might not be familiar, what exactly is small talk?
That's a great starting point, James. Small talk is basically light, informal conversation that people have when they first meet, or when they want to be friendly without talking about anything too serious or personal. It's often used to fill silences, build rapport, and make interactions more comfortable. Think of it as a social lubricant.
A social lubricant. I like that. So it's not usually about deep discussions, but more about being polite and friendly.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging the other person and creating a positive atmosphere. It can happen anywhere. Waiting in line at the supermarket, at the office coffee machine, or at a friend's gathering.
And I think for learners, the challenge is not just understanding the words, but knowing when to say them and what to say. Sometimes the textbook examples feel a bit stiff.
Oh, absolutely. Textbooks are great for grammar and vocabulary, but they don't always capture the natural flow and the subtle nuances of real-life conversations. People don't always use perfect sentences, and sometimes they use phrases that are very common but might not be in every vocabulary list.
So let's start with a common scenario: meeting someone at work. Imagine you bump into a colleague you don't know very well, perhaps by the coffee machine or in the hallway. What might you say?
Okay, a classic situation. You might start with a simple greeting, like hi or hello. Then you could add something about the immediate environment or the general situation. For example, morning, Sarah. Busy day today?
Busy day today. That's a good one. It's relatable because most people at work are busy. It's a safe topic.
Right. Or you could say something like, how's your week going? This is a very standard phrase. It's friendly and invites a brief response. The other person might say, it's going well, thanks. A bit hectic, but good. Or, not too bad, you.
Not too bad, you? That's a common reply, isn't it? It's a way of asking back without being too demanding.
Precisely. And if you've seen them recently, you might refer to something that happened like, did you enjoy the team meeting yesterday? Or, hope you had a good weekend.
Ah, the weekend. That's a universal small talk topic. Did you do anything nice over the weekend? Or how was your weekend?
Yes, and the response is usually quite brief unless you want to engage in a longer chat. Someone might say, it was fine, thanks, just relaxed. Or, pretty quiet actually, caught up on some reading. The key is that it's usually not a detailed account.
So the goal is to be pleasant, not to share your entire life story. What about if you're meeting someone for the first time at work, maybe a new colleague?
In that case, you'd likely introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Alison. I work in the marketing department. Then the other person would introduce themselves. You could follow up with something like, welcome to the team, or nice to meet you. How are you settling in?
How are you settling in? That's very welcoming. It shows you're interested in their experience.
It does, and you might offer some basic help. let me know if you need anything at all. Or, if you have any questions about how things work here, feel free to ask.
That's really helpful advice for new employees. So at work, it's about being friendly, acknowledging shared experiences like the workday or the weekend, and offering a bit of support.
Yes, and also commenting on shared physical spaces. For example, if you're both waiting for the elevator, you might say, "Taking a while today, isn't it?" Or, "Looks like everyone's heading out for lunch."
Or even something about the weather, which we'll get to, but it applies at work too. Hugh, it's warm in here today, isn't it?
Exactly. It's all about finding common ground, however small. Now let's move to another commonplace: shops. When you're in a shop, maybe at the checkout or browsing.
This can feel a bit more informal, maybe even shorter. What might you say to the cashier?
The most common thing is a simple greeting: "Hi," "Hello," or "Good morning/afternoon." Then, when they're scanning your items, you might comment on something you're buying, if it's unusual, or if you think they might have an opinion. For example, if you're buying a lot of ice cream, you might say, with a smile, "Looks like I'm stocking up for a party."
Ha, that's a good way to make it light. Or if you see they have a particular item you like, "Oh, I love these biscuits. They're delicious."
Yes, that's a nice way to engage. Or if there's a long queue, you might sigh and say, "It's a bit busy today, isn't it?" The cashier might agree, "Yes, it's always like this on a Friday."
So again, commenting on the shared situation. What about the weather? I feel like the weather is the king of small talk.
Oh, absolutely. The weather is a universal, safe topic that everyone can talk about. It's perfect for when you don't know the other person well. You can say things like, "Lovely day, isn't it?" or "Bit chilly out there today."
And the typical response is agreement or a slight variation. Yes, it is. Perfect for a walk. Or, yes, I had to put on a jumper.
Right. It's a way of acknowledging the shared environment and making a polite connection. You can also say, "Looks like it's going to rain later," or "Finally, some sunshine."
So if you're in a shop and the cashier says, "Lovely day, isn't it?" You can reply with something like, "Yes, it is. I'm glad the rain has stopped." Or, "Yes, I'm hoping it stays like this."
Exactly. It's about giving a brief, positive response. What about if you're browsing in a shop and you see someone else looking at the same item?
That's a good one. You might ask for their opinion or make a comment. "Oh, are you looking at this too? I'm not sure about the color."
Or, "Have you tried this before? I'm thinking of buying it." This opens the door for them to share their experience. They might say, "Yes, I have. It's very good," or "No, I haven't, but it looks nice."
And then you can follow up with, "Thanks for letting me know." Or, "Maybe I'll give it a try then." It's about building a tiny connection with a stranger.
It is. And remember, in shops, the interaction is usually quite brief. The cashier is busy, and other customers are often in a hurry. So keep it short and friendly.
That's great advice for shops. Now let's talk about parties. Parties can be a bit more daunting for some people, especially if you don't know many people there. Small talk is crucial here.
Parties are definitely where small talk shines. It's your tool to navigate the room and meet new people. The host often introduces people, but sometimes you find yourself standing alone.
So, if the host introduces you to someone new, what's the initial exchange?
The host might say, Sarah, this is James. James, this is Sarah. Sarah works in graphic design. Then you'd say, Hi, Sarah, nice to meet you. And Sarah would say, You too, James.
And then, how do you keep it going?
You can ask about how they know the host. How do you know host's name? This is a very common party question.
Ah, yes. I know John from university, or we work together, or she's my neighbor.
Exactly. And then you can comment on that. If they say they work together, you can ask, Oh, what do you do? Or if they know the host from university, Oh, what did you study?
So you're finding out a little bit about them, but not in an interview kind of way. It's light.
Right? You can also comment on the party itself. Great party, isn't it? Or the music is really good. Or have you tried the food item? It's delicious.
So you're using the environment and the occasion as conversation starters. What if you're at a party and you see someone standing alone, looking approachable?
This is where you might initiate. You can walk over and say something like, Hi, I'm James. I don't think we've met. Or you could comment on something you both observe. For example, if you're both looking at a piece of art on the wall, you could say, That's an interesting painting, isn't it?
Or if you're both near the food table, everything looks so good, doesn't it? I don't know where to start.
Those are perfect examples. The key is to be friendly and open. You can also ask questions related to the party. Are you enjoying the party? Or, What brings you here tonight?
What brings you here tonight? That's a good one. It's a bit more direct but still polite.
It is. And if the conversation flows, you can ask more. For instance, if they mention their job, you could ask, Oh, that sounds interesting. What's that like? But be mindful of the length. If they give a short answer, it might mean they don't want to talk much about it.
So you're reading their cues. What if you want to end a small talk conversation at a party? You don't want to just walk away.
Good point. You can use phrases like, Well, it was really nice talking to you, James. I think I'm going to go get another drink. Or, It was lovely meeting you. Enjoy the rest of the party.
Enjoy the rest of the party. That's a polite way to exit, or I should probably go mingle a bit more.
Exactly. It signals that you're moving on, but in a friendly way. It's also perfectly acceptable to say, Excuse me, I need to find the host.
So at parties, it's about initiating, finding common ground through the host or the event, and knowing how to gracefully exit.
Yes. And don't forget about compliments. A genuine compliment can be a great icebreaker. I love your dress, or That's a great tie.
Oh yes, a compliment is always well received. It's a positive start. Now, Alison, we've covered work, shops, and parties. Are there any general tips for successful small talk that learners should keep in mind?
Absolutely. First, be observant. Look around you. What's happening? What can you comment on? The weather, the environment, the event.
So, use your surroundings.
Second, listen actively. When the other person speaks, pay attention, nod, make eye contact, and respond. This shows you're engaged.
And don't just wait for your turn to speak.
Exactly. Third, ask open-ended questions. Instead of questions that can be answered with yes or no, ask questions that encourage a longer response. For example, instead of, Are you happy? Ask, How are you feeling about?
Like, how's your week going instead of, is your week good?
Precisely. Fourth, be positive and friendly. Smile, use a pleasant tone of voice. Small talk is about making a good impression.
Keep it light and cheerful.
Fifth, don't be afraid of silence. Sometimes a short pause is natural. You don't need to fill every single second with words.
That's a good reminder. We often feel pressured to keep talking.
And finally, practice, practice, practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable and natural it will become. Don't worry about making mistakes. Most people are understanding and appreciate the effort.
That's excellent advice, Alison. So, to recap, observe, listen, ask open questions, be positive, embrace pauses, and practice.
Yes. And remember, the goal isn't to have a deep, meaningful conversation every time. It's about making a human connection, however brief. It's about being polite and friendly.
It's about building confidence in your English speaking abilities. So, for our listeners, try to incorporate some of these phrases and tips into your next interaction. Maybe at the supermarket or when you meet a new colleague.
Even just a simple, "Hello, how are you?" and a genuine smile can make a difference.
Absolutely. Allison, this has been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and practical examples with us.
My pleasure, James. I hope it helps your listeners feel more confident when they're making small talk in English.
I'm sure it will. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on ESL Easy English. We hope you found this episode useful. Please like and subscribe. And remember, practice makes perfect, and every conversation is a learning opportunity.
Until next time, happy chatting!
Goodbye, everyone.